All right, all right. Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me? And can you also see me? Hold on, let me see. Tingnan ko kung sino ang nandito. So, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Amelita. You have Karen. Bienvenido. Good afternoon, Early, Eva, Joanne, Johannes, and Catherine. All right. Let's start our webinar. Let me just fix my screen. All right, amazing day again, everyone. Let me start off by introducing myself. Okay, my name is Robbie. I'm a coach for Filipino virtual assistants. So I guess I will be conducting the whole webinar. Pero dahil I think mga 9 lang naman kayo, or 10 lang naman tayo dito, the participants. It's quite few. So I guess after I introduce myself, I will be giving a few rules na one would be, kung merong questions, just feel free to butt in. Tapos just unmute your mic and ask away. But let me introduce myself first. My name is Robbie. Again, I am an author. I have written the Freelancer's Bible for Pinoys. It's available in Amazon and also my website. I'm also a motivational speaker. I have given talks and keynotes on topics of, I guess, leadership, freelancing and working at home, mostly writing, and of course, social media, anything online. Tapos, of course, I'm also an entrepreneur. I'm the owner and co-founder of Architect Books and Workshops. Of course, I'm also an FBA coach, a Filipino virtual assistance coach. I'm handling Central Luzon and Central Visayas. So what we do is we have courses, or we have online courses geared towards helping people start getting online jobs. I'm also a trainer. I am handling the English for Freelancers course. It talks about blogging, writing, article writing. Soon we're gonna have business writing, and I am also, of course, I'm still a freelancer. I am a consultant and a social media strategist for various brands, companies, and government agencies, both here and abroad. Later on, I'm gonna show you a few samples of my work. And dahil ang topic natin is strategies and campaigns, social media campaigns, I'm going to give you certain best practices and certain samples of standout social media campaigns. All right. Good PM. Magandang hapon. Magandang hapon din. Okay, pero before we begin, let's talk about a few rules. One of which is, of course, if you have any questions, you don't have to wait for the entire presentation. Just go ahead and ask. Kasi it would be great, habang pinag-uusapan natin, we can already talk about it. Tapos also, yun, ask, and share and comment. If ever your mic is not working, you could just type it in the chat box and then I can answer it. And I'd really, of course, I'd like you to participate. And if ever merong mga takeaways, if ever merong mga comments, you can also type it in the comment box. Now, mag-set tayo or iset natin kung ano yung mga expectations or kung ano yung mga i-expect natin all throughout this 4-hour webinar. Usually, I do webinars face-to-face. I love it if we can go outside, punta tayo sa isang, let's say, conference, doon tayo mag-webinar. Kaya lang, because everything is online now, meron siyang advantages and disadvantages. Kung meron kang internet, well and good, you can start making money or start having a business online. Or it also has its disadvantages. Kasi, syempre, there are certain brick and mortar establishments na right now, thriving. Kasi nga, hindi makalabas yung mga tao. Pero, everyone or people who have internet, people who are adept in the internet and online, kahit brick and mortar yung stores nila or yung products nila, once they establish it or once they advertise it online, it goes back on track. Now, ano yung mga i-discuss natin right now? We're going to discuss, of course, marketing campaigns. Ano-ano yung mga different marketing campaigns that you could start with online? What is email marketing? Pero siguro bandang mga latter part na yun kasi the meat or the bulk of this webinar is all about social media. I also included some basics of email marketing kasi paano papasok yung email marketing sa social media marketing, sa overall digital marketing campaign natin. And of course, we're going to discuss social media marketing. We're going to discuss the basics of your page. Mamaya, I'll give you a walkthrough of what you see when you create a Facebook page. And I'm also going to discuss some copywriting. Pag gumagawa ba kayo ng captions sa Twitter, sa Facebook, sa Instagram, ano ba dapat ang ating language? Is it Filipino, Tagalog ba, Bisaya ba yan, English ba yan? What would be the best language? Kailangan ba short? Kailangan ba sobrang haba? Paano tayo mag-i-incorporate ng keywords? Now, before we proceed or before we go to our discussion, I'd like to know from you. Type in the comment box what you expect and also ano yung mga field natin or syempre I'd like to know para ma-tailor fit ko yung webinar, para ma-tailor fit ko yung mga ituturo ko based on what you really need. Ano ang inyong background or field right now, and why did you enroll or why did you participate in this webinar? Sige, I'll be waiting for your responses. You can type it in the chat box or you can unmute your mic and I'll be waiting. From Cebu. All right. Bienvenido. Bienvenido in Spanish is welcome. Marketing officer in charge. All right. I guess you'll be using this for your company. If you're in charge of marketing, I guess you're also in charge of social media, Facebook, online marketing ng company. Sige. Hopefully, magagamit mo yung mga nandito for marketing your company. For success and business online, si Amelita. I'll give you a bit of a background about what I'm doing right now. Right now, syempre, I am marketing my own company, that's Architect Books and Workshops. I also have a client na they're a government agency, and I'll be giving you a preview of how I am currently organizing yung medyo bitak-bitak na marketing or walang marketing ang itong government agency na ito. I have also handled social media campaigns and the social media, the whole page, the whole social media of certain international companies, publishing companies, and I'll be discussing kung paano from zero we were able to reach this many number of likers or this many number of reach and engagements sa page. And of course, business doon sa company. Kasi the more people who like your page, the more people who get engaged, the more people lang nakakakita ng products, ng services, and of course, the more people na potentially and actually the traffic would come in and the sales would come in. All right, si Eva has a travel and tours admin and travel consultant. Good news for travel consultants, right? October 1 open na ang travel. All right. Very good, very good. Si Karen is center manager for the Aquino Center. Oh, okay. Handling museum and event center. That's very, very interesting. Museum and event center. Sige, I'll also be discussing the different goals. Kasi hindi lang naman lahat sales, di ba? There are products na ang overall objective is sales. Kailangan mas mataas yung sales for next month. So, paano nakakaapekto ang marketing sa sales? Pero paano kung ang minamarket mo is hindi sales? Paano kung advocacy? Paano kung government agency ka and you're not really after sales? You're after more people knowing about the advocacy. So, meron ding, ang gusto ng mga tao is more traffic na not necessarily sales and not necessarily advocacy. I want more people to partner with, or I want more people to build connections with that. Afterwards, pwedeng makadrive ng sales, or afterwards, pwedeng makatulong sa aking business. Right. I guess I can already work with these expectations. Travel and tours, museum, marketing ng company. Sige, let's already start. Actually, this is already the second run of my social media webinar. The first run was all about basics. Basics meaning, anong makikita mo sa loob ng Facebook page, ano ang difference ng Facebook, ng Instagram, ng Twitter. This is actually more advanced kasi we're already talking about marketing campaigns. Anong marketing campaign and anong platform ang bagay sa business ko. Alright. Pero syempre, as we go along, I'll be asking you, ha? Gusto ko rin na merong interaction. Like, my first question is, do you already have a Facebook page? That would be my first question. Si Karen is more interested in basic FB page. Oh, okay. And how to maximize it. Sige, part of this webinar is I'll be giving you a walkthrough of what you could find in a Facebook page. Kasi, I'll give you a concrete example. I started my Facebook page in 2017, 18, 19, 20, 3 years. And in that 3 years, organically, no ads, of course, I do my ads sa aking campaigns, yung mga products ko. Pero, you can also buy likes. Did you know you can buy likes? I never do that. Pero, not buying likes, I was able to get, in counting around 8,000 likers and counting in 3 years. This government agency na hinahandle ko, their page started in 2013. About what, 8 years na or more? I'm not good with math. That's my Waterloo actually. Pero 2013 up to 2020, ang likes lang nila, when I started, I just started this year, about a month ago, 11,000 lang. So imagine, my page, 3 years, 8,000 likes. That page, government agency pa sila, ha? So talagang kilala sila. They started 2013, 11,000 likes lang. When I stepped in a month, I was able to add in 11. Nasa 13 na sila ngayon, 2,000. So that is what optimizing your page means. And the more people who like your page, let's say one person has 1,000 friends, tapos nag-like siya nung page. Yung one person na yon with the 1,000 friends, makikita nila lahat dahil doon sa feed ng one person na yon yung page. So it's a domino effect. Pero of course, you have to optimize your page. Question, can we ask for a copy of your slides? I can give it to you, but you have to reach out to me. Kasi I don't normally, these are really great questions, by the way. I don't normally give Limitless coaching my slides, but if you go to my page, that is Filipino Virtual Assistants, coaching by Robbie Lorenzo, that's my name. If you go to my page and type in or ask, Coach, can I have a copy of the slides? I can give it to you. Will you have another run? Yes, we have another run. We actually have one every month dito sa Limitless Coaching. I have a month-long course, and I also have webinars from time to time with different establishments. Right. I can advise other museums. Oh, great. We could talk about that. All right. Maybe after this. Now, let's go to what we're going to talk about. Imagine that having a website or having products or having services, gumawa ka ng website, nilagay mo yung products mo or yung line mo. Let's say you have a museum, you put up a website. Imagine being in a boat and having a bucket of water. Tapos yung bucket of water na yon, you threw it in the ocean. What happens to the water, to the bucket of water that you threw? Nobody would know and nobody would care. Kasi sumama na siya dun sa ocean. That's what creating a website or putting your products, your services, your line, or your or putting whatever it is that you put in the internet will do without proper marketing. Nobody would care unless meron kang mediums or channels. So, let's say this is your website. Yung products mo, you have your products and may it be online or may it be brick and mortar. Brick and mortar meaning may physical ka talaga na place. Let's say meron kang iced tea shop or milk tea shop or coffee shop, that's brick and mortar. And people have to go to the shop to buy your product. Now, these are your audiences. May gap, merong malaking gap between your products and your audiences kasi hindi nila nakikita. Now, what do? You start to market. How do you market? You go to channels and platforms that have a lot of people. And so far, these are the channels that have a lot of people. You call them right now, you call them online population or you call them online citizens now. And there are actually different profiles per platform. Let's say, si Facebook, ano-ano yung majority ng mga tao na nasa Facebook? Ano yung ages nila? Ano yung social class nila? Later on, we'll talk about that. Si Instagram, ano yung social class? Gender. There's a difference between sex and gender, ha? Ano-ano yung mga sex, gender, social class, economic profile ng mga tao na nasa Instagram, Twitter, ano-anong mga countries ang ma-expect ko na makakahalubilo ko when I go to Twitter and when I go to Pinterest. May kulang pa, LinkedIn. These are the top 5 platforms that we need to explore if we really want to market our products or services. Now, things to do before making a campaign. All right, I already have a business or I'm an employee of a company and I need to market the products and services of my company. Yun ang aking KPI. What do I need to do or what do I need to have before making a campaign? The first thing that you need to do is you have to have a plan. Always have a plan kasi I have students na matagal na silang merong page. And what they do, syempre, when I analyze, I ask them, ang tagal-tagal mo ng may page, like this government agency, 2013 pa, what they do is they just post and post and post. Kapag meron silang magandang naisip, gagawa sila ng social media card or ng graphics, lalagyan nila ng caption, not even minding about the hashtags. Minsan yung hashtag nila sobrang haba or hindi man lang ni-research yung hashtag, tapos post. That's not proper marketing. That's not marketing. That's only posting. You're only posting. And these things that you do, gagawa ako ng social media card, caption, hashtag, post. You're not going to reach a lot of people with this kind of posting. So, we have to have a plan. Now, what what does a good plan or marketing plan or campaign plan include, or what do you have to do before you make the actual plan? First is you have to know your audience. You have to know what platform you will focus on, and we'll go one-on-one. Check natin siya one-on-one these things that you need to do. We have to have a goal. Ano yung marketing goal mo? Kasi kung wala kang goal, kung post ka lang ng post, tapos wala akong number of likes na goal, wala akong number of reach and impressions and engagement, wala akong goal. Basta maka 500 lang ako, okay na ako. Tapos last week maka 500 ako, right now, meron akong 1,000, okay na yon. You have to have a clear goal. Kasi, you won't be able to measure it effectively and efficiently if you don't have a goal All right. So, what platform will you focus on? Now, before I go to this, before I go to which platform we need to focus on, let me show you, let me give you a walkthrough of my page. Now, I have my chat open. Oh, how about the university? Is it necessary to use English? The university, meaning if you are handling or if you're an admin of a page in the university, it still depends in your audience. Let's say it's a university, but your audience, you're targeting moms, kasi depende pa din eh. Depende sa gusto mo, kasi there are universities or there are schools na hindi estudyante yung tinatarget, kasi syempre ang magbabayad sa amin mommies, daddies. So if you're targeting mothers, fathers, pupunta tayo sa social class nila. Yung social class ba ng mothers and fathers are A, B, rich, mid-rich, mid. If it's rich, mid-rich, and mid-class, you go for English. If it's mid to, or if it's C and D, you go Taglish. Or better yet, you have an English post and you have a Filipino post. So, again, university, you're targeting parents, English. Now, what if you're targeting students? You're targeting ano yung mga assignments ng students, or kung may pasok ba sila, or announcements from students, you go for Tagalog and you also speak their language. What do you mean language? Did you know that kung single ka, 20 to 30 years old, you go for English na kasi nagtatrabaho ka na eh. Pero 20 below, 18, ganyan, you have to speak their language and also know what they're interested in. Ano yung mga pinagkakaabalahan nila ngayon? Right now, because I'm with Popcom and ang campaign namin is adolescent health and development, I am targeting not adolescents, but the parents of the adolescents. Pero, I'm also handling the youth sector in our ministry. So I have to do my research in the lingo that they use. Hindi ako pwedeng, there's a gap between us. Kasi kung mga bata yung kausap ko, tapos ako yung mother coordinator or parent coordinator, hindi kami magkakaintindihan. So I have to know ano nangyayari sa Among Us, ano yung mga issues nila. I have to do my own research. There. Oh, medical institutions, definitely English. Kasi I think this is already, kung hindi man graduate studies, even if it's college pa lang, because it's a medical institution, sort of like kung social studies yan or social sociology yan or has something to do with arts and sciences, political sciences, you go for English and they will appreciate. All right. Now, I will be giving you a tour of my page para alam nyo kung saan kukunin yung insights or yung audiences. So this is my page. And dun sa mga let's say you will be hired as a social media manager for an already existing page, and then they give you access. You'll know if you already have access kung makikita nyo yung inbox, yung creator studio, yung insights. Now, kapag nagsisimula pa lang kayo na gumawa ng page, wala pang notifications masyado, and yung insights nasa labas pa. Kung halimbawa, coach, hindi ko makita yung insights, click on more, and then here is your insights. Sa insights natin, makikita yung different statistics that we need. And also, some of the agencies and some of the companies that I worked with, hindi lang isa yung pages nila. Halimbawa, national. And then you have regional, region 1, region 2, region 3. So, meron silang mga partner pages. Iba-iba yung format. You also have to standardize the format. Let's say yung business mo, merong kang Manila branch, Cebu branch, Quezon City branch. Number 1 is you have to standardize. And you have to use, of course, the same colors, the same branding. All right. Now, this is the back end of my page. Where do you find, eto na, you find the insights right here. Now, something I'd like to show you, you have post reach and post engagement. What is the difference between post reach and post engagement? Yung reach, let's say nag-post ka sa page mo. Yung ton dumaan sa feed, sa news feed. Let's check out news feed. Okay. Ano yung news feed? Kasi I really want you to understand the terms. Okay. Yan. Let's say nag-post ka ng picture and then dumaan siya sa news feed ng isang liker. Kung wala kang ginawa, nakita mo lang, tapos nag-browse ka, nag-scroll down ka, or nag-scroll up ka, tiningnan mo yung susunod, that's already reach. Reach is the number of people who saw your post without necessarily liking it or without necessarily commenting. Wala silang ginawa. Now, ayun, so this is my feed. Ito yung aking feed. Ito yung lahat ng nakikita ko. This is all organic. Tapos, pag meron kayong nakitang sponsored, this is a paid ad. So, si Asian Institute of Management, nagbayad sila kay Facebook so that this ad would appear. Now, ang ads, makikita nyo rin dito, sponsored. Anything na may sponsored, that means it's paid. Okay. Balik tayo sa page ko. What now is engagement? Ang engagement is, let's say dumaan sila, yung post dumaan sa feed nyo and you liked. That already forms part of engagement. Why do we need to differentiate between reach and engagement? Kasi si reach, kahit na kung nakita yan ng tao or kung sino man yung post nyo at wala naman silang ginawa, hindi yun makikita ng mga friends nung tao na nakakita. But with engagement, let's say si A or si Juan, nag-like siya. Automatic, yung mga friends ni Juan, pupunta yung post mo sa feed ng mga friends ni Juan. And kung may 4,000 friends si Juan, 4,000 na people agad ang makakakita doon. So, kahit ito ay 1,600 pa lang, this is what matters more than this. Alright, now, going back to my analogy kanina about the page. Di ba we have this one? This is my personal account. And you'll know that this is a personal account because I have friends. Now, itong personal account ko na to, hindi ko siya pwedeng gamitin for business. And ito yung common mistake ng mga businesses. Yung hinawakan ko na government agency, they still have personal accounts. Kasi kapag personal account ka, you can only have 5,000 friends. Imagine, may limit ka. Limit ng mga tao na makakakita sa post mo. Kung 5,000 lang ang makakakita, kung page yan, you can have millions and billions of likers, millions and billions of people who like and look at your page. Walang limit. Now, another thing is a personal account is all about the person. Kaya nga, what's on your mind, it's very personal about you. And it doesn't have insights. Hindi mo makikita yung stats. In a page, makikita mo kung ilan ng lalaki, ilan ng babae, ilan ng nag-view dun sa content mo, post-reach, post-engagement. If you scroll down, ito yung 5 most recent posts ko. I know na this is an image. This is a shared link. And if we click on all posts, makikita natin, how do you analyze? I analyze by checking ano sa mga posts ko yung pinakamalaki ang reach at saka pinakamalaki ang engagement. Now, mind you, what I do on my page is I have some filler content and I have one content na ang tawag dito is evergreen. This is content na alam ko patok na patok sa mga tao. This is to make me more productive. Kasi in a week, hindi naman pwedeng Monday, iisipin ko, ano bang kailangan kong i-post? Yung kailangan patok sa mga audience ko. Tuesday, gano'n na naman, mag-iisip na naman ako. Pareto rule, you only have to think of one in a week para it saves time. Para yung iisipin mo na you're thinking, isa lang. And then the rest, kahit quotes na lang, ang dali lang naman kumuha ng quotes sa internet, motivational quotes, o kaya mga questions, how are you today, yan. So, itong mga ito, ang reach niyan maliliit lang. Pero, you still have activity on your page. Now, this one, ito yung evergreen ko. It's just one picture. And as you can see, hindi siya paid. How do you know if your post, if a post is paid? Let's see. I have a paid post. Merong kang dark, ano dito, dark, wala akong masyadong paid post dito. Paid posts dito. Pero when it's paid, hover over and you'll be able to see 0 yung paid plus dark orange yung makikita nyo dyan. Now, you have 6.8 na tao ang nakakita and out of that, 600 and 142 ang nag-like, ang nag-comment. So that's a good number kasi usually, so 100% na reach, about 10% ang mag-e-engage. That's a good number, 10 to 20%. Now, saan natin makikita yung mga tao? If we go to people right here, we'll be able to see that the 8,000 likers that I have, or fans that I have, 77%, I went to dito sa left-hand side. When you click on people, 77% of my likers are female. So, yung colors na gagawin ko for my posts have to be suitable for women. 23% are men. It's a dispensable number. So, I have to focus my campaigns on women. Now, as per age group, syempre, ang campaigns ko have to be 25 to 34. So, ano ba yung mga pinagkaka-interesan ng mga tao na 25 to 34 ang age? Definitely, I am not going to put Among Us or Leah Ash or let's say, sino pa ba? Things na ang audience ay mas younger than 25 to 34 or maybe older than 25 to 34. So, dito ako magfo-focus on this number and this number. Now, as per country, syempre pinakamadami Philippines. Pero this one is also good kung halimbawa, in terms of city kung halimbawa nationwide ang inyong page. Maybe you're selling online. Ano yung bulk ng city? Right now, itong page ko is, ang pinakamarami is Cebu. So maybe I should learn Cebuano para I can reach out to more Cebuanos. All right. So this is how you check. Now, we also have syempre your reach right here and yung overview right here. You won't be able to find these stats. Ayun, this one, very, very minimal lang yung aking paid post reach. The rest are actually free. Now, you won't be able to see these stats kapag ang ginamit mo is your personal account. And doon sa aking inaayos na government institution, ayaw nilang mag-shift from personal account to a page kasi nga daw may 5,000 likes na. My advice or my recommendation is do not think about the 5,000 friends na wag kayong manghinayang dun sa 5,000 friends. Kasi if you manage your page well, I'll give you a concrete example. Yun nga, September, I started managing this one, si Popcom. Ayan. I started managing Popcom's page September, October na ngayon, 1 month lang, and I was able to contribute 2,000 likes already in Popcom. Imagine kung if you keep optimizing ito in 3 months, bawing-bawin mo na yung 5,000 na friends mo dun sa personal account. Plus, makikita mo pa or matatarget mo. All right. Now, that is actually a walkthrough of my page. If you have any more questions, we can always go back to that page. So, what are the platforms that you need to focus on? Now, here's the part where I ask for your inputs. What do you think is the biggest social media platform in Popcom, in the page that I manage, we did a question of the week promo. So these are promos na if you give your email or if you answer your question, you get a certain goodie or you get a certain freebie. Okay, how does this work? The top fan badge promo is, let's say this is an organic campaign, mind you. This is a good way to have an organic campaign. Organic meaning it's free. You don't have to pay for ads. And it's the reason why it's called organic is that you launch a campaign, tapos or para siyang organism na it grows on its own. So, how does the top fan badge work? Of course, you have to scatter it. You have to market it across other social media platforms. You have to tell people, uy, meron akong marketing campaign. And you have to be clear about your mechanics na kapag, when you like the page, when you become a top fan for 4 weeks, kasi kapag hindi ka na active sa page, kapag hindi ka na nagko-comment, kapag hindi ka na nag-share ng mga content, na nawawala yung top fan badge mo. When you are a top fan holder of the page, and when you like the page, and you already qualify for the certain goodie or for the certain promo. Tapos, there will be a specific time kung kailan siya ito-draw, and then you have winners. There. That's one example of getting leads. Kasi, pwede nating ilagay doon sa mechanics na you have to send in your email, or another thing is, if you have a free ebook, or if you have a, let's say, a free Tumblr like this, pwede mong i-send, i-add mo na lang yung costs ng shipping. Pwedeng isa lang na Tumblr and then shipping, tapos you get their email in return or in exchange for what you're gonna be sending out. Pero the best freebie that you can give is an ebook or something digital kasi wala ka ng shipping. Yun. So these are ways for you to build your email list. Tapos, another goal is for you to increase web traffic. Now, again, why do people need to increase web traffic? Kasi a lot of stores, let's say hindi Amazon, hindi eBay, a lot of stores sell in their website or sell in their Instagram. And for you to make sure that you have a lot of buyers, you have to have a lot of traffic. It's a numbers game. Let's say, out of 100% ng mga tao who go to your website, 50% or 40% would most likely buy. It's a numbers game. So let's say 10,000 ang magpunta dun sa website mo or dun sa Instagram mo, itaga mo 40% ng 10,000 na yun, so that's what, 4,000 would most likely buy 4,000 or 3,000. So it's basically a numbers game. That's why you need web traffic. Now, another is improving your overall brand engagement. Concrete example would be what I'm doing with Popcom now. I mentioned na 2013 pa yung page nila. Kaya lang, they're not after sales, they're a government agency. Ang gusto lang nila is to create awareness. Kaya lang, hindi nagwo-work yung mga campaigns nila na actually wala talaga silang campaign. So, what I'm doing as a social media strategist is, hindi muna ako gumagawa ng campaign. There are people who do that. What I do is a total overhaul of the entire, not the logo, kasi that's a government agency, hindi natin pwedeng galawin yun, but everything else. Yung cover page nila, yung branding nila, yung colors nila, the way they send out their messages, captioning nila, total overhaul of the brand. And, of course, the fifth one is driving direct sales. Yung example ko kanina na sa ads ko na 10,000, kailangan ang goal ko is 50,000 direct sales. Right? Now, how long will the campaign last? Ang delikado is, or ang mga companies na gumawa sila ng website, tapos nagpo-post lang sila ng nagpo-post. Wala silang particular campaign na for September, ito yung campaign natin. Let's do World Contraception Day. Tapos for October, ganito tayo, Adolescent Health Campaign. Walang ganon. Basta puro awareness. Or kung halimbawang company siya, Tapos, ang products mo ay flowers. September, ito yung mga pinagbentahan ko. October, ito yung mga pinagbentahan ko. Wala kang benchmarking. So, there's nothing to monitor. But, if you have a page and you have a campaign for 1 month na for September, let's make it rainbow campaign. For October, let's make it, or for June bride campaign, July, August, September, you make campaigns per month. And I would suggest that you you monitor and you make a campaign per year para paulit-ulit lang. Kasi a year has 12 months. So, kung meron kang 12 campaigns, edi for this year, okay ka na. For next year, i-recaption mo na lang yon. Pero it's the same campaign. Paulit-ulit lang, hindi ka na mahihirapan for the next years. Kasi, for businesses and for advocacies, we have to think long term. We have to, ayaw natin nang nahihirapan tayo kasi that's just short term eh. Ano bang gagawin ko today? Ano bang gagawin ko next week? Ano bang gagawin ko next month? Kung meron na tayong plan na i-recycle natin next year, hindi na tayo mahihirapan. That is making our lives more productive. All right. Now, how long will a campaign usually last? Usually, it lasts for a month. Pero, depende pa rin sa atin. Kasi, let's say, mamaya, I'll tell you the story of Nike. The Just Do It campaign. It was launched in 1988. This single campaign, marketing campaign, yung Nike Just Do It campaign, 3 letters, Just Do It, ang simple-simple. 1988 hanggang ngayon, they're still using this campaign, and hanggang ngayon, it's making money for Nike. And this campaign alone was the one na nag-boost sa kanila. Dati, 1987 below, top 2 lang sila. Reebok at saka Adidas ang nagko-compete for top 1 na sports profile brand. Noong 1988, ni-launch ni Nike ang kanyang Just Do It campaign. Number 1 sila ever since. So, itong campaign na to, in perpetuum. Pero, meron pa rin silang mga mini campaigns. Right? Pero, yung mga single campaigns natin that we do for a whole year, the ideal is 1 month. Now, you also have to have proper monitoring and evaluation. That's why our campaigns have to have a deadline. So, sa isang buwan, ilan yung reach, ilan yung impressions, ilan yung mga tao na nag-comment, ilan yung bumili kung product siya, para next month, kung gagawa tayo ng panibagong campaign, we can benchmark and we can check what went well dito sa campaign na to, what went well dito sa campaign na to. Next campaign, we combine. All right? So, that's how you know if the campaign is effective. You benchmark. And so that you can properly benchmark with other campaigns. Now, how will you measure your goal? You have to be clear on your goal first. Is it driving sales? Is it brand awareness? Coach, what if it's all 3? I would suggest on a particular month, focus on only one campaign. Kung bago ka pa lang na page, kung bago pa lang na page and people don't know the page yet, go for brand awareness. Kahit na company ka who has products, go for brand awareness first. Kasi kapag ang mga tao, they already know your brand, hindi ka na mahihirapan kapag ang ginawa mong campaign is sales. So go for brand awareness first. And there's also a reason kung bakit nauna yung awareness and then traffic and then conversion. It's chronological. Hindi ka pwedeng mag-campaign ng sales agad. Hindi ka naman kilala ng mga tao. Diba? Because people don't buy products. They buy brands. They do not buy because they want the product. Some people, inaalam muna nila yung kung sino yung nagbenta. Diba? Alright. And also, there's this principle where people want to buy. Yes, they want to buy, but they don't want to be sold to. Gusto mong bumili, pero ayaw mong bentahan ka. So, for you to make sure that people buy and you're not hard selling, go for brand awareness first. Alright. And of course, set targets na ano ba yung target likes ko? Or ano ba yung target sales ko? Or ano ba yung target na people na na-reach ko? And yung mga people na nag-react or people who like the campaign. Right? And then, of course, you monitor. Now, are we still good? Still good? Just type in yeah. If you're still good. Kasi baka yeah, all right. You have questions. Yan. Now, what now? Kasi alam na natin kung ano yung mga kailangan for you or yung kapag nagplano ka, ano yung mga kailangan bago ka gumawa ng campaign. Now, nandito na tayo sa, we're already making a campaign. What are the basics for you to create a campaign? Now, I've trained a lot of people who create campaigns or create posts, create captions, create graphics, and a lot of them, I'm not so sure if you can relate na, ayan, you're all good. I'm not so sure if you can you can relate. When you create social media captions, kukuha lang ako ng font, kukuha lang ako ng line, tapos background. Ilalagay ko yung background, ilalagay ko yung font, lalagyan ko ng logo, boom. Yun na. There is a certain psychology na kapag nakita ng tao, magugustuhan ba niya to or hindi? And did you know na ang gumagawa nung product or ang gumagawa ng campaign, hindi niya nakikita yon. Just the same, ang writer, I'm a writer by the way by profession, ang writer, pag nagsusulat siya, hindi niya nakikita kung ano yung standpoint or kung ano yung nakikita ng reader. That's why you need beta readers, or that's why you need editors and people who read your material and people who give you comments and criticisms. Na I'm an editor as well. And kapag ine-edit ko yung manuscripts or yung work ng writer, magugulat sila na, ay, oo nga, no? And then they realize it for the first time. Ganon din sa graphic design. Pag gumawa ka ng graphics, and merong tao na nag-edit ng graphics mo, you realize for the first time na, ay, oo nga, no? Let me show you. In terms of fonts, font psychology is the study of how different fonts impact thoughts, feelings, and behavior. So, font pa lang, makita pa lang nung tao yung font. Kasi ang mga tao, pag tumitingin sila ng graphics, hindi mo na nila babasahin yan. Their eyes and their brains would interpret it first before they read it. So, kapag ang font mo and I need your input right here, there. When you see something like this, saan most likely ginagamit ang font na ito? Ano yung age? Ano yung age range ng mga tao na makaka-appreciate sa font na ganito? Bata, light topics, yes. Do you think professional people would like to read something like this or would enjoy reading something like this? Actually, that's right. Light topics and kids. Usually for comic books, for manga. Ganyan ang ginagamit. Depends, right? Depends on what? For professional, for professional people, siguro kung title, pwede. Pero gagamit ka ba, let's say technical paper, or let's say ang post mo is all about a post na government agency or something na sa Senate, 'di ba? Or sa House of Representatives. Post siya, it's an advisory. Tapos sa Senate siya or sa House of Representatives. Definitely, you won't read something like this, or you won't put something like this, or you won't put a font like this kasi it has to be professional. Now, Comic Sans, yes, is used actually for kids. Kasi this type of font, it's thick and hindi siya, ang font na, ang characterization ng font kapag ikaw ay professional is it's typeface, more on the typewriter side. Pag ganito na medyo mataba and medyo comic book, it's more on for kids. How about this one? Ayun, sinabi ko na kanina, career. when do you use fonts like this? Ano yung most likely yung audience na makaka-appreciate nito? Age range. Yung mga tatay ba natin? Yung mga lolo ba natin? Professionals? Yes. Alright. So, kung halimbawa, bata, ang makakakita ng poster, 30 and above, yes. 30, studies show na people who are 40 and above, actually 40 and above, and mostly men, appreciate typewritten fonts. How about this one? Yan. Itong handwritten font. It's more on calligraphy. Lalaki or babae ang mas makaka-appreciate ng font na ganito? Pang MMK, yes. More on kasi 'di ba kapag if it's handwritten, it's very dramatic. It's very melodramatic. Parang yun nga, 'di ba? You can already see na Dear Ate Charo just based on the font, right? For girls and for women. Lastly, how about this one? Paintbrush. I actually use this particular font. Imagine it and then imagine it dark red. Dapat pala nilagay ko dark red. It's artistic, yes, paintbrush. Pero what if it was dark red and gangs, yes. Pwede siyang gothic. Pwede siyang, I use this particular font. It's called Edo, E-D-O. And it's found in Canva and also in Photoshop. I used this for a campaign that I did for a horror publishing company for fraternities kasi medyo dark yung vibe niya. Pag medyo ginawa mo siyang, nilagyan mo ng mga blood, it's very, very effective for horror campaigns. So, just by yung fonts, you already know kung ano yung gagamitin mo. Now, here are a few tips when you do fonts or when you put fonts in your campaign or in your graphics. Use only a minimum of 2 and a maximum of 3 fonts. Kasi some people, I see their graphics, pag binilang ko yung font type niya, mga 5, 6, ang gulo-gulo. Ang gulo-gulo kapag ang dami-daming fonts. So, there is a psychology when you use fonts. So we have to learn this psychology. Actually, these are just 4. These are just the basics. There are more in terms of psychology. So we have to know that, and we have to identify only 2 or 3 fonts when we make campaigns. Kasi pag dinagdag natin, naglagay tayo ng fonts, and we see, ay, ang ganda naman ito, ilalagay ko, maguguluhan yung audience natin, and hindi nila ma-interpret the message that we want to send. There. That is it for font psychology. Now, how about color psychology or brand color psychology? Now, when you think of colors, think of 2 things. One is your brand, yung maglalast, the one that will last, and the colors that you will use for campaigns. Example, sa Popcom, right now, ang logo nila is composed of 2 colors. One is, ayun, red and yellow. Yun lang. Pero, when you make campaigns, meron kaming Usap Tayo campaign that we used. We didn't make use of those colors. We used these colors. Purple, blue, and the mixture. So, syempre, meron kang logo ng Popcom, pero this is for a particular campaign. So, you have the logo, this will be your brand, and this will be your personality overall. Eto ka. Kahit ilang campaign ang gawin mo, eto yung personality mo and eto yung branding mo, eto ka. But, in order for you to have different lines and different campaigns, you can make use of different colors depending on the audience. Kasi pwedeng you're a company, you're a brand, but you have different lines. Let's say you have or products. You have one for women, you have one for children. hours or 5 hours. Kasi yun lang naman ang scope ng social media manager. You can work about 4 to 5 hours lang naman. Pero yun nga, rate is $4 to $5 and ang scope ng work ng social media marketer and manager is, ang manager kasi, ang social media manager is someone who polices or enforces rules in the page or in the group. Let's say, kapag malaki na yung page mo and you have a lot of comments, magugulat ka, merong mga netizens or mga tao na yung comment is maybe negative or maybe magugulat ka na lang may nag-aaway. The job of the manager is to make sure that the page is clean. So kapag may nag-aaway, you remove them, you reprimand them, you say we have rules here, and sometimes you block people. Or syempre, you also reply. You're the manager. You reply to questions. You reply to comments. Kasi that's how you make a page active. Hindi pwedeng pag nagsabi sila ng thank you for the video, quiet or cricket, kruk, kruk, kruk. You always have to be the last person or the last touch. Ikaw ang dapat na last person na magre-reply. Kasi 'di ba? Sa stream of post and then replies, you have hi, hello, how's your what's your product about, and then you reply, question reply. You have to be the last person. Kahit na mag-smiley face ka lang, you have to be the last one. Kasi Facebook also checks or monitors how fast you reply. May response time ka din. Tapos kapag ang response time mo, let's say may nag-inquire sa page mo, and then nag-respond ka the next day pa, that's already 24 hours, bagsak ang page mo. Meaning, sa search engine, or kapag yung mga tao naghahanap ng product mo, flowers, hindi ikaw yung sa number 1 sa searches. And that's a bad thing. Kasi yung activity mo is bababa ng bababa. Alright, that's management. Marketing is part of what I do. Is you have to know when's the best time to post. You have to know what to post. You have to know how many to post and what hashtags to use. That's marketing, or that's thinking of the best strategy for your page. And the starting rate for that would be, kasama na yung marketing and management, would be $4 to $5, which is about 200 pesos. There. All right. Now, I hope that everybody is already here and already good. Just keep the questions coming if you have any. Now, let's start with discussing the elements of an effective ad campaign. And when I say ad campaign, it could be one post or it could be a series of posts. Pwedeng yung ad campaign mo, 'di ba? At the onset, sa simula pa lang ng webinar natin, I mentioned ang unang-una, the first thing you need to do is you have to have a plan. And for you to know that you have a good plan is you have to have a let me show you this, a social media plan. Now, this is the social media plan. Let me show you that I created for Popcom, and the elements of the plan are, syempre, you have to have the date kung kailan siya lalabas, anong araw, what is the type of content, ano yung graphics, ano yung caption, and ano yung hashtag. Tapos, ano yung status? Is it scheduled? Is it posted? We have something boosted, yung event page, binoost namin. So, you have to have a social media plan na nakasulat. So that when you do your report, and a lot of clients, hindi naman sila maghahanap ng something written, but this is for your guide. And this is also something that you can show for them pagbayaran na, at kapag tiningnan nila, kasi a lot of clients hindi naman sila nagtitingin ng page. Kapag hinire ka nila as a social media manager or marketer, iiwan na nila yung page sa'yo. Pero tatanungin ka nila, what have you done? This is something that you show. All right. Question. Or what if you know what to do or what to come out, but you don't know how to create a graphic post and implement it, and the time to answer it, or when's the best time to post it, or when's the best time to answer it? Okay. What if you don't know the campaign? I mean, what if you don't know? What if you know what to do? but you don't know how to create the graphic post, meaning the anong gagamitin ko, Canva, or anong gagamitin ko, Photoshop, paano ko gagawa. Talking from a client's point. All right. You know, there are social media managers and thank you for clarifying that. From the client's point, what if I'm just a client and I know that a lot of clients are like this? Kasi a lot of the actually all of the international clients that I've worked with, they don't know how to create a Facebook page. They don't know how to optimize, of course, because they don't know how to create, and they also don't know what to do. And they're hiring a social media marketer, or manager to create and to market the page for them. Bibigyan lang kita ng content and then you post it and then you post it. There are a lot of social media marketers and managers who are already seasoned or who already know what to do. But of course, you have to ask them. You have to be very transparent kasi I have been in the position of both freelancer and client, or both social media manager and client. Nakapag-hire na din ako people who manage my post because I'm a bit busy now. And what I clarify with them is you have to do everything. Hindi ako mag-supervise. So when you hire them, you have to be clear to them na I don't know what to do. You have to do it for me. I'm gonna give you pictures to post. You do the graphics, you do the caption, and I'm going to approve it. I hope I was able to answer your question from a client's perspective, if that's what the question is about. Now, yeah, going back to the social media plan, you have to have, of course, a social media plan. But from the client's perspective, if you hire a social media manager, the social media manager will be the one to show you the social media plan. And it will be great as well. You can ask, so where is your social media plan? If you're the client, you ask the SMM. Let's call them SMM, social media manager or marketer. You have to ask the SMM for a plan kasi I know if you're the client, you don't have time to check the page once every now and then. So, this would be helpful. Ano yung mga lumalabas? And to know if your branding is very well handled by the SMM kasi you'll see it in the graphics, you'll see it in the caption, and of course, you'll see it in the hashtags. All right. So, now that we know how to create a social media plan, what are the elements of what makes a good post, what makes a good campaign, and what makes a good post? These are the elements. The ones that I mentioned, yung nakita nyo yung aking social media, I am going to remove some already, or some tabs already there. What makes a good post is there are 4 elements. You have to check the graphics, the captions, the hashtags, and the timing. Timing meaning, when is the best time to post? Kasi kapag ang ganda ng graphics ko, yung captions ko very catchy, yung hashtags ko are good, pero pinost ko siya ng 3 a.m. 3 a.m. Philippine time. Tapos ang audience ko, Filipinos din. Do you think that's a good time? No. Because people are asleep. So when's the best time to post? All right. First is yung graphics. Let me ask you, do you think when you see this graphic or this picture, you think it's good or bad? You think it's engaging? Itong picture na ito. Fact, laptop. The first portable computer was yada yada yada. So bad. Not engaging. Why? Yes, that's right. It's so bad. Masakit sa mata. Yes. This is actually a graphic. I do apologize about that. That one of my former apprentices created for me. That's her first draft. And we were able to critique this. Pero yan, I showed you kasi, 'di ba? This is the first draft of someone of a graphic designer na apprentice pa lang siya nung ginawa niya to. And she was very proud of her work. Sabi niya, hindi daw niya inexpect yung mga critique ko, which goes to show that there are actually a lot of things that graphic designers and writers see or not see that people see na hindi nila nakikita. Like, proud na proud siya dyan. But then, what are the things? Unreadable. Kasi, di ba, the background is, yes, it's pink, pero it's very distracting. It's everywhere. Tapos, even the symmetry, parang ito mas malaki, ito ay hindi sila pantay. And of course, you have your margins. And of course, you have your spaces. Fact, laptop, and then space. The two font rule was followed. Kaya lang, yun nga, you have your spaces. Tapos, kung halimbawang ako ang audience and you all attest na it's so bad, right? But this is just the first draft. Hindi ma-recognize yung image. Ano ba yung image? Here is the test. If you need to squint your eyes and really focus before you read and before you see the content and make sense of it, it's a bad graphic. Now, what makes a good graphic? Good graphic is something na hindi naman necessarily nandun lahat ng information. It's something na it has to be readable. After all, when you're making infographics, you assume na hindi lang nila titignan yan. Babasahin din nila. Like this one. This one is, of course, this is a good graphic. Pagkakita mo pa lang, hindi ganun ka-bulky yung words. Yung spaces, it's fine, it's good. And you have your logo right here. Hindi siya ganun ka-distracting. What's the first book you ever remember reading? And it makes you think, right? Hindi siya, it doesn't have too many information. It doesn't have too many things there. So if I were to ask you, what would be much better, this one or this one? First picture or second picture? What's better? Second pic. All right. I just took screenshots. Yung white there, it's not included. Pero whose ad is the book ad? It's one of my clients. It's called the Wicked. Thank you for asking. It's called the Wicked Digital Library. All right. Thank you for asking. There. Now, the second. Now, that said, I showed you that. That is what a good graphic does. Kasi the first thing that people do before reading your captions and before making sense of your ad is they have to look at the ad. Pagpalagay na nating 100% of people in Facebook are 60% or 70% visual. Lalong-lalo na kung Instagram yan, kung Pinterest yan. They're visuals. You have to focus on the first part, and the first part is the graphics. Now, what do you focus on when it comes to graphics? First is the symmetry, meaning, like this one, this PowerPoint presentation. You can fairly say that it's asymmetrical, but it's also symmetrical at the same time. Kasi, it's asymmetrical kasi may picture dito, tapos dun sa kabila walang picture. But then, the design is such that you have a picture right here and the rest of the graphics are right here. So, it works. And then, you focus on the distraction or you remove the distraction. Actually, the best tip that I can give you for those who are designing their own graphics or designing their own social media cards is before you post, have someone look at your graphics. Kasi meron silang makikita na hindi nyo makikita kasi kayo yung gumawa. You are biased already because you made it. So, distraction. Is it distracting? Is it easily readable? And third is the logo or the branding. Let's go back to this particular ad. Okay, this is the logo, by the way. It's there. The company is the Wicked Digital Library. And yung logo niya, ang logo ng isang company, the logo is there to provide the personality and the branding of the company. But it's not there to do hard sell. You don't put your brand to stand out. So your logo should not stand out. Be in the periphery or in the peripheral side lang. Pero ang function ng logo sa posts is the more people see the posts and then they see the logo, the more they associate this particular branding or this particular design from Eva. I-check nyo kung yung best practices or kung yung mga elements ay pasok dito kay Nike, the Just Do It campaign. But just to give you a brief overview, then was launched in 1988. And I mentioned kanina na before 1988, the top two brands are Reebok. Si Reebok dati is centered on aerobics. The 1980s, imagine yung mga tao, di ba? Yung what a feeling, yung naka-center siya on a particular, on a particular audience lang. Pero see, Nike changed it. The Just Do It campaign is actually centered on everyone. Every age group, men, women, every social class. So, generalize nila with these three words. Just do it. Gawin mo na lang. And what they did was a sort of an emphatic marketing. Maganda ang research team na gumawa nitong Just Do It campaign because it is emphatic and it is putting yourself in another person's shoes, pun intended. It's putting yourself in another person's shoes, may it be magbabasketball ka, may it be anong gagawin mo, may it be sneakers lang, pupunta ka lang sa work. It's very, very general. All right. Now that said, here are the qualities of a good ad copy. Number one is it has to be simple. Babalik tayo kay Nike ad. Simple? Yes. 'Di ba? Walang masyadong palabok, walang masyadong pictures, brand lang. And then just do it. Simple. Is it informative? Yes, it informs you to just do it in 3 words. Informative, concise, and complete. Pero we also have to bear in mind yung mga campaigns, ad campaigns na gagawin natin. Let me tell you another story. I am supposed to create a video on this aspect. Ngayon, in the pandemic, we have online products, right? And then in these online products, we have campaigns. Tapos, yung mga sa campaign, nakakita na kayo ng mga nagtatanong ng how po? 2 words. 2 words. How po? Now, I am of the opinion, I think, that if your campaign is complete, if it's concise, and if it's informative, maiiwasan natin yung pagtatanong ng how po. So, your campaign has to have all of the details there. And if ever yung mga details ng campaign mo hindi kasya kasi minsan meron kang terms and conditions, minsan meron kang mga price list na madami, kung hindi siya kasya, you have to make sure that all of the frequently asked questions are there, or yung links, the links where to find them are there. It has to be complete. And of course, it has to be informative where yung mo nandun lahat ng products list, nandun lahat ng reviews, pero how do they pay? Wala dun. So, merong gap. Let's remove all of the gaps and make it complete para maiwasan natin yung how po. Right? Now, it also has to be exciting. Kasi, before people check out your ad, they have to be excited first. Kailangan, you have to tickle their fancy muna. Alright? That's why yung graphics natin have to be tailor-fit to the crowd. So kung book lover ka, if you're into history, ano yung mga colors? Usually history is brown. Brown, black and white, things that are old. I'm not so sure, well, because history is old. There, it has to be exciting, pero depending on the audience. Kasi you'll say, hindi naman exciting ang black and white, hindi naman exciting ang brown. Pero it depends on the audience. I'm a historian as well. I love history. And I don't know, black and white excites me. So there you go. It depends on the audience. It also has to be honest. I'll give you one example. There are a lot of ads where malaki in bold letters, free. So it's very misleading. When you click on that, yung free pala, free trial. So you have a free 14-day trial. What happens on the 15th day? You honest. Pero coach, merong mga ads na nagaganon, free, tapos magugulat na lang kami on the 15th day, mababawasan yung credit card namin. That is why, as buyers, we also have to be cautious and we also have to be wary. Why am I giving you my credit card? Diba? If it's for free. So, sometimes there are fine prints, yung mga maliliit na fine print, it's there, and that's the reason why it's called fine print, because that's the part where the sellers don't want you to see. But when you make your campaigns, you have to make the pricing, or you have to make these fine prints big so as not to be misleading. All right, and also, most important is it also has to create a sense of urgency. How do you make sure that the buyers have this sense of urgency? Number one, you use call to action, or you have an encouragement, or you use a call to action. What are these call to action buttons? You have buy now, register here. You want to know why your buy now, register here, subscribe here is always at the end of the ad? Sometimes it's in the middle. It's in the middle of the ad, and then it's at the end of the ad, because it's a funnel technique where they give you all of the details, tapos paliit ng paliit, yung hanggang sa yung desire mo, gustong gusto mo na siya. Tapos all you have to do is just click on that buy now button. That's where you put the red color buy now, so as to reinforce yung excitement nila. Create that sense of urgency by putting call to actions and also using the right colors. Next is, what are the elements of a good ad copy? And we also need to consider again yung Nike. And while we're doing this, think of all of the commercials na nakita nyo na, may it be video commercials, commercials sa TV. Do these have yung elements of an ad copy? One is yung attention value, because readers are lazy. What is the attention value? In an article and in an ad copy, yung written ad copy, the first sentence has to have that hook. Yung first sentence, you can create an ad copy by starting with a question or an exclamatory sentence, something that would strike their fancy, or something na magugulat sila or mapapaisip sila. That is how you get their attention. Why did I say here that readers are lazy? When you write articles, I've also checked a lot of blogs and a lot of articles. One common mistake is that, check natin to, something that you notice in this ad copy, it's very short, maiikli. Kasi imagine, if itong copy na to, or if itong paragraph na to, isang bulto, isang bulk siya, our brains are going to tell us, ang boring naman ito, hindi ko nababasahin. Kahit gustong-gusto mo yung libro, kapag nakita mo, again, the psychology behind, you have your color psychology, your font psychology. Now, this is your written psychology or your paragraph psychology, na kapag ang paragraph ay isang big bulky paragraph, parang nakakatamad siyang basahin. But if they are organized, if the sentences are organized, and if they are short, and the paragraphs, if they are short, parang this is a 2-minute read. Kaya kong basahin to. So you will finish. Kasi madali lang naman siyang basahin. There. So readers are lazy. So readers are lazy. So you have to help them. Your campaigns have to be structured in such a way na maiikli lang. Another element of a good copy is your CTA, or your call to action, suggestive value. And also, mamaya i-discuss ko that you also have to bear in mind the language that you use and the words that you will use. One tip is, when you create a call to action, don't use words that demean your value. And don't use the words please and kindly, like kindly subscribe here, or kindly buy here. Why? Because you are asking them to do it. Don't ask, tell them to do it. So when you create your call to action, rather than putting kindly subscribe here, put just subscribe here, or buy now, or learn more. Don't say please and don't say kindly. You're demanding it, but in a polite way. There. Another is conviction. Hold on. There. Because you are sure of your product. Later on, I'm going to show you words that you need to avoid. All right. And of course, and lastly is the memory value, because ads need to be unforgettable. I'm very sure hindi na ako naglagay, pero there are ads na pag pinakita ko sa inyo, may it be in the 80s, may it be in the 90s, pag nakita nyo, maaalala nyo. Or let's say early 2000s. Some of the ads na merong unforgettable value sa akin is, if you know who Christian Vasquez is, si Christian Vasquez, he's the really hunky guy na medyo Iloilo yung kanyang accent, or Visaya siya. Nakilala siya sa isang ad. It's a commercial, and if you're familiar with the PLDT ad, na ang sabi niya doon is ayokong magdoktor, and then the line is suportahan ta ka. That was a very, very memorable, unforgettable ad. And there are, of course, other ads that are unforgettable. Top of my mind, yun lang naisip ko. Pero ads that have memory value are they're gonna be a legacy, kasi they will be mentioned all over. Kahit ngayon hindi na masyadong mabenta si PLDT, the landline, yung ano na yon, yung commercial na yon, it will run for ages. Exactly, there's si Karen and si Gina, right? Because, and also you have to go back to the country. You have to go back to the culture of the people. Kasi if you go out sa let's say abroad, what will be memorable to us may not be memorable to other people. The first ad using a dialect, yon, yung the PLDT one, yung suporta kanta ka. Si Karen and si Gina, it's memorable because may kurot kasi sa puso. And we Filipinos value yung may storya and yung medyo madrama. I'm not so sure why, pero if you go out, syempre, iba yung values, iba yung culture, they may not understand. This is a legacy for you. Yun. It depends on the country. It depends on the culture. There. What else? Now we go to copywriting best practices. This is the part where I tell you what you should and should not do when you write captions. First is, avoid unsure words. Seemingly, maybe, sort of, I think. These are words that demean your value. Nakakababa ng value kapag if you keep saying maybe, that means that you're unsure of the product. If you say sort of, hindi ka sure. Or if you say I think, then you're not sure of the product. Another is, use simple words. The aim is not to impress, but to make them act. Another thing that I realized, or another thing that I noticed sa Popcom nung hinawakan ko siya, is yung mga words nila, because it's the government, and these people are really smart. They use not really highfalutin words, pero they use English. Pero ang audience natin is, of course, C and D class. So, for the C and D class, it's already highfalutin. Nosebleed na ako. So, we have to tailor fit the caption based on the audience. And if we use technical terms, medical terms, depende sa audience. If your audience is medical practitioners, you can use highfalutin in medical terms kasi nagja-jive siya. It matches. Pero, if we use impressive and highfalutin words without considering our audience, that's not going to be a very good campaign. All right. So use simple words, or rather use words depending on the audience. Another is, this is for creating copywriting campaigns, or campaigns that sell, or campaigns that are targeted, not content marketing. Kasi there are different rules when you write articles and when you write content. This is for copywriting and for captioning, for making campaigns. Avoid making it personal. How? When we create campaigns and we are representing a company, or we are a company, or we are an organization, we have to use we, or we have to use, rather than saying, I believe that this will make your lives better. Just say, this will make your lives better. Don't use the I, me, my, first person, because it's not you who's posting. You're posting in behalf of the organization. Another example is, Architect Books and Workshops is my company. But whenever I post for Architect, save for certain occasions where I use I me my, 80% of the time ang likers or ang followers sa Twitter back then. So, I was able to reach about 6,000 followers. Kaya lang, hindi ko masyadong na-market yung aking products and I wasn't really able to do anything about it. Kasi, ang mali sa follow for follow strategy, if you follow just anybody, let's say, ang niche ko, this is my author page. And of course, my niche is writing and motivationals and inspirationals. So I did the follow for follow without considering the niche of the people that I follow. Now, what happened was iba-iba yung niche nila. Merong gaming, meron pang ang porn, may porn. I wasn't targeting anybody. And then I left because I didn't know how to grow properly. I didn't know how to market it. So the 6,000 people, lumiit. Naging 1,500 na lang. Pagbalik ko sa Twitter, bumalik ako a month ago, that was September 1 to be exact. Bumalik ako, nagulat ako, yung 6,000 followers ko, naging 1,500 followers na lang. Now, these people, ito yung mga hindi masyado rin na nagto-Twitter, nag-start lang, and they just didn't follow me back. These are stagnant. Now, come a month after, I did a certain strategy. Now, itong 1,500 followers, nung September, I was able to grow it to 2,700 counting right now. And ang maganda dito, these 2,700 people or these 2,700 followers, I was able to grow it to about 1,700 kasi may 1,500 na ako. I was able to grow it, and itong mga niche nila are the same niche as me. They're writers, they're editors, and it's growing. So, what strategies did I do? I did a research on hashtags. All right. So, I found out that Twitter is more on real-time marketing. The difference between Facebook and Instagram, lagay natin si Facebook and Instagram dito sa isang side, and then dito sa isang side si Twitter. The difference between Instagram and Facebook is you schedule the content and then iwan mo siya. And it's gonna be organic. Pero si Twitter, it's real time. You have to go to Twitter or go to the app at least once every day and post. So it's real-time marketing. Mas matrabaho siya. Pero ang maganda dito is you get to really build relationships and you get to market your product with the right people, with the right niche. Now, how did I do that? I researched for good hashtags and good communities. I found this really great community. The name of the community is Writing Community. There. Now, how do you research for hashtags? I use this app. It's called Hashtagify. There. Hashtagify. I'm going to share the link here so that you can check. And it already has COVID-19 kasi kaninang umaga I researched on COVID-19. Now, what does this app do? When you research for a particular hashtag or when you research for a particular word, it tells you if the hashtag is good to use or not. Credible ba yung hashtag? Okay ba siyang gamitin? And if you're going to use the hashtag COVID-19, eto yung results niya. Wow. 81.9%. This is global. So it's okay to use. Another good thing about this app is it gives you alternatives. Other than COVID-19, you can use coronavirus. Ito yung pinakamalaki. And the more na malaki siya, the more na good to use siya. Alright. Now, back to Twitter. What I did was I researched on people who are writers who used hashtags na ganito, writing community, because I'm a writer. You have to research for the proper hashtag or the right hashtags that a lot of people used. And every time I post, I use writing community. And there are also what we call Twitter parties and Twitter lifts. So just to show you, one of the posts that I did was able to get like this one. this is, I just retweeted this, pero ang range ng aking mga tweets, it gets about 1.7 thousand, 187 retweets, and about 597 na replies. These are really great numbers. Kasi nung tinitignan ko yung mga counterparts ko na writers, their numbers are about siguro mga 2 digits lang, 3 digits lang, and having good communities to lift you up would be really great for Twitter. All right. Now, how about for Instagram? For Instagram, what's good for Instagram other than ephemeral marketing? Oh, there you go. Hold on. There. Other than ephemeral marketing, and ephemeral marketing is all about stories. When you click, or when I click this, or when you see your profile picture or another person's profile picture in Instagram, and there's this color right here. By the way, that's Instagram's branding colors. Those are their branding colors. Naka-gradient siya eh, but it's composed of 2 colors. May dark dito and may light dito. Now, when you click on that and when you see the stories, that's called ephemeral marketing. Kasi after, in 24 hours, mawawala na siya. That's one example, or that's one strategy that you could use for your Instagram. Another is you can go for layout designs. Layout designs are really a big thing in Instagram. What are layout designs? Let me show you. This is one of my pages, and this is another page. Just to show you kung ano yung rowdy, kung ano yung hindi. This is my personal page. And this one, it's very, very convoluted, and it's very, very rowdy. Masyado siyang distracting, iba-iba. So, if someone goes to my page and sees na, ano ba tong gulo-gulo, they wouldn't stay on my page. If you compare it with this one, and I'm talking about business pages because this is a personal page, okay lang. Kasi the goal is just to keep posting and posting and posting for my own benefit. But if your goal is to attract more people, by the way, this one is just to show you, from 560, actually, I started off with about 400. When I started this campaign, ngayon, it's already 560. So it's actually working. One layout that you can do is, this is the vertical layout where all pink, all blue, all white, and these are actually my branding colors. So you can use your branding colors in Instagram. Another is your checkered or tile layout. If we go further, medyo nagkaroon lang ako ng gap. Pero I was able to do a tile layout on my Instagram right here. Ayan. Picture, quote, picture, quote, picture. That's the tile or the checkered layout. So these are some marketing techniques that you could explore with Instagram. You can also partner with other stores or other Instagram products. Look for online stores, look for online brands that you can partner with, reach out with them. And when you do your like, share, and follow contest, you can route them to the page. And then when you partner with certain brands, you can say like, share, and tag, and then get your price from this particular brand. So that's how partnerships are born, or that's how partnerships are made with Instagram. Right. That's it with Twitter, with Instagram. Oh, one more thing with Instagram. Tanggalin ko na yung mga iba. With Instagram, the difference between Facebook and Instagram is, in Facebook, you should use a maximum of about 4 hashtags lang. Mga 4 hashtags lang kasi in Facebook, people see everything, or people look at everything. Tinitignan nila yung picture, yung caption, pati yung hashtags. Imagine sa Facebook, kapag nakakita ka ng mga 30 na hashtags, masyadong distracting. Ang dami-dami namang hashtags nito. So, you only have to use about 4 hashtags. In Instagram, it's okay to use So many hashtags. The maximum hashtags that you can use in Instagram is 30. 30 hashtags. Why is it okay to use this many hashtags? Because a lot of people don't really care about the hashtags. They don't scroll down. Minsan, binabasa lang nila yung captions. Minsan nga, tinitignan lang nila yung, minsan tinitignan lang talaga nila yung pictures. So, you can use as many hashtags as you want. Here's a trivia, or here's a question for you. What do you think is the word or the hashtag that is mostly used in Instagram? What is the hashtag? It's composed of it. It consists of 4 letters lang. 4 letters. What is the most used hashtag in Instagram? 4 letters. Sige. I am going to wait for your responses. Live, close, close, close because the first letter is L. Love. Sige, how about the others? Wild guess. Work. First letter is L. Like. Sirip. Sirip. Actually, Bien got it right. The word or the hashtag that is most used in Instagram is love. Now, how many are the people or the users who use love? Let's see, I'm not good with math. That is 1.9 billion, right? 1 billion, that's a million. 1.9 billion already. Last time I checked, that's about 1.6 billion lang. Palaki ng palaki. So, up until now, last year, it's been the hashtag that is the most used. Up until now, love is the hashtag that is the most used. And how you look for hashtags or how you know how many people use hashtags is just type in the hashtag and then love or whatever hashtag you want. And then you know how many posts have this hashtag. All right. And what I use besthashtags.com. I'm also going to share this with you. Besthashtags.com, it differs from Hashtagify. Kasi si Hashtagify, you check if the hashtag is okay to use. One hashtag lang. Pero si Best Hashtags, if you type in, let's say writer, there. If you type in the word writer, it's going to give you a series of hashtags there for Instagram. So, hindi ka na mag-iisip or hindi ka na magre-research ng ano bang susunod na hashtag ko. So, it's already going to give you a set of hashtags. Now, what I suggest is if you're a company and you have different stories or if you have different lines or products, let's say if the horror company that I worked for has different keywords. You have iba-iba yung mga stories na sinusulat. Serial killers, haunted houses, monsters, demons, vampires. So may 5 ka na topics. I suggest you have a hashtag set or hashtag topics list. Type in vampires right here so that if your post is about vampires, you already have a hashtag set. So it depends on your company or your line. So if you have bags, purses, women, men, type in your topic and then you're going to have a set of hashtags depending on the line or depending on the topic. All right. I think this would conclude my presentation. So I am open for question and answer. If you have questions, if you have comments, I'd also like to know what you thought about this webinar. I would like to know if you had fun, if you learned a thing or two. I'm open for questions. You can unmute your mic. You can type it in the chat box. Now, while you're thinking about those questions, comments, or those takeaways, I am going to lead you, of course, because this is marketing, I am going to lead you to my pages. If you liked this webinar and if you would like to get to know
Okay po. Ready? 1, 2, 3. One more po. 1,